I think there's no substitute for the kind of community that can happen in a more urban setting. The support and services and education and access to jobs and access to transit. I mean, all that support network is important for everybody. And it's also really important to people with disabilities, maybe even more so in some cases. And so I think it's really that access to support and access to community that makes cities so important.
We have tenant protection, we have the preservation of existing housing, and we have the production of new housing. And those three pieces are really key and core to what we understand as strong housing policy in the state. And you'll see a lot of the measures that come out of the legislature are around those issues. Types of reform have been a big part of the conversation. First, approval reforms, making building housing cost less money. How do we make it cheaper? And that includes not just reducing fees at the local level, but also making sure that developments go through the process quickly, because with development, time is money. And then zoning reforms, making it easier to build housing, making sure that the local allowances on zoning at the local level are permissive enough to build all types of housing.
I am quite concerned that we have policies that, it's either 100% affordable with a stack of publicly oriented subsidies to make that affordable, or it's very high-end market rent, and that our collection of policies, land use policies, financing policies, don't make it easy to have a better mix within a development, but also just to have more moderate income housing, because we're driving to this, what I call the barbell effect. And if you're lucky to win that subsidy lottery, great. And if you're not rich, then too bad. There's no place for you. And it's like the hollowing out of people in the middle that is of concern to me.
I noticed when I started in this space that there was actually both a lot of ableism and a lot of kind of anti-poverty built into how we talked about housing for people with disabilities. So often people would frame their project as, don't worry, this won't be those poor people, it'll be non-threatening disabled people. And it was incredibly angering and frustrating. And even though I think people were trying to do it for the goal of getting housing built, they were actually playing right into ableist stereotypes and also saying really bad things about low-income people in general that didn't have disabilities. And really the only way to solve this right is to actually have disabled voices be the ones at the community meeting, and actually have people with disabilities themselves talking about their housing need in a neighborhood, and people with disabilities themselves showing up and talking about why this community is important to serve a diverse population.